Girls, and was there a reason behind the scenes for the remodel of Lorelai's house? Which one? There were like multiple times Lorelai's house completely changed. Let's get into all the different times, and let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Valerie. I was the key set costumer on Gilmore Girls, and I share a lot of fun facts from behind the scenes, which are only possible if you engage with this on your FYP. Follow me over on YouTube to catch the ones that don't. Remember when I told you that Gilmore Girls was a low-budget show? Yeah, I know, the Birkin bag. Let's not get into that right now. The pilot episode of Gilmore Girls was filmed in Unionville, Ontario, Canada, and Amy didn't want to film in Unionville. She wanted to #stay in LA, where she lived and where all the actors lived. In order to make concessions to film in LA, they decided to shoot on 16mm film instead of 35, and the other concession was that they needed to use as much of the unaired pilot as possible so that they could not have to reshoot those scenes. Because the first episode of Gilmore Girls was longer than the pilot, they were able to salvage some pieces, but they had to merge new scenes that were shot in the brand new Lorelai's house, which looked absolutely nothing like Lorelai's house in Unionville. Let's talk about the changes. There's wallpaper in the kitchen. There's stairs between the kitchen and the foyer. The foyer has a giant wardrobe and a glass door that is open. There's a bar where the stairs leading upstairs should be. Now, the other parts of Lorelai's living room look almost identical, except for perhaps the placement of a couch, and I rebuilt that entire set on Stage 18 at Warner Brothers. But they rebuilt it with modifications. Like, they made the entire first floor flat, no stairs, no more door between the foyer, and that wardrobe was replaced with a coat rack. Do you remember the piano in Gilmore Girls? Well, the second major change happened when they replaced the piano with a giant archway. One of the major reasons why they added that archway was so that they could put the camera in Lorelai's living room instead of removing the entire wall in order to shoot in that space. It also made for more interesting scenes and people being able to enter the living room directly from the front door. Change happened when they added a garage. Yeah, that garage just magically appeared a few episodes before it was needed. Do you remember the Hug-A-World scene? Well, that scene was created to justify the fact that Lorelai did not park her vehicle in the garage because it was crowded with crap. When they added that garage, it made it way more difficult to film in Lorelai's bedroom. I know, it doesn't make sense, but let me make it make sense. This part is gonna blow your mind. Lorelai's bedroom was filmed inside Lorelai's house, but above Sookie's living room because the front side of Lorelai's is the back side of Sookie's, and the back side of Sookie's is the front side of Lorelai's. Does this make sense? Okay, here's a map. Now, the crazy thing is the bathroom, we actually filmed the bathroom upstairs in that building too, was where Lorelai's bedroom should have been. Everything upstairs was just flipped around, which meant that whenever we filmed inside Lorelai's bedroom or even in the bathroom, they had to get the camera equipment upstairs. Was there an elevator? No, there was not an elevator, but there was a scissor lift where they would load all the equipment on there, scissor it up, and then hoist it through the upstairs window that was above Sookie's living room. Now, when the garage was moved there, it became a little bit tighter because we were going in through the side windows. But even before the garage was installed, it was a difficult set to film in. Any set that was filmed on the back lot, anytime a train, plane, or automobile nearby, we would have to hold for those distractions. The fourth remodel happened after Luke and Lorelai got together. Now, this is the one that most of you guys will recognize. Lorelai walking into her bedroom screaming, "Hole, hole, hole." Knowing that we would be filming a lot more scenes up in that bedroom and how difficult it was to shoot there, they decided to move it onto stage. But what stage? We were running out of space. So they took the painter's area that was located right on Stage 18 next to Lorelai's house and moved that onto another stage and built that set in that area. And because they knew they needed to rebuild it on stage, why not make a few adjustments, make that area a little bit more functioning, prettier, bigger, and utilize some of the extra attic space that we were definitely not using. After all, Lorelai's house, while you might think it's a very big house, why isn't there more bedrooms upstairs? It actually really wasn't that big up there. There were definitely a lot of changes that happened in a year in the life, especially changing that rounded archway between the foyer and the living room to a squared off archway. That one I just don't understand. When I walked onto the set in A Year in the Life, there were definitely substantial differences between the original set and the new set they had built. I don't know if it was just they didn't have the plans and they had to kind of like work it out, but it felt bigger, and I think that those changes happened to help facilitate filming and make it easier to film.